Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of FPL Fanzone. My name's Nick and in today's episode we are going to be looking at my final thoughts leading into the Gameweek 12 deadline. If you're happy like I am that the international break is now over and that's the final one of this year, then please don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're new to this channel and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos coming up over the Christmas period. So without further ado, let's get started. So as we head into Game Week 12, I have 5 flags in my team. So for those that are listening, I've got Flecken in goal, who's away to Everton this week. I've got Nori away to Fulham. I've got Gabriel at home to Nottingham Forest. Trent Alexander-Arnold away to Southampton, who's of course orange flagged at the moment and is unlikely to be playing, so he's a big headache for me. I've got Rodgers at home to Crystal Palace, Palmer yellow flagged away to Leicester. I have Umbremo away to Everton, also yellow flagged, and then Semenyo at home to Brighton, but also yellow flagged. And then up front I have Haaland at home to Tottenham, Cunha away to Fulham, and Wood away to Arsenal. On the bench I've got Pickford at home to Brentford, Johnson, who is currently away to Man City, Aina, who is yellow flagged away to Arsenal, and then Vass, who is at home to Chelsea. So as you can see there are a lot of yellow flags, and I'm going to talk through each of these and what this means for my team and potential options. I currently have 0.4 million in the bank and 1 free transfer. So let's have a quick look at what we can do with this team. So with only 1 free transfer and only one of those flags actually a real concern for me, which is Trent Alexander-Arnold. I've already made my first move with a couple of hours to go before the deadline. So I've looked through the press conferences and it looks like Trent Alexander's not going to be playing for the game that we want this week against Southampton away. So I have moved him out, saved a huge amount of money and dropped him down to Lewis Hall. The reason I picked Lewis Hall, we talked about other defenders earlier on in the week, but I picked Lewis Hall because 4 of his next 6 fixtures look like there's potential clean sheets there. Newcastle are starting to find a bit of form, but West Ham at home, Crystal Palace away, Leicester at home and Ipswich away. Obviously they's sandwich, Liverpool at home and Brentford away, which I'm not expecting clean sheets from. He also takes corners as well. Looking at this heat map here, he takes corners, so there's another opportunity for him to get assists as well. He's got 3 clean sheets so far in the first 11, and I think there's a real opportunity to pick up 2 or 3 more in the next 6. And then obviously just the 1 assist so far. And so yeah, for me, I just think that there's a real opportunity here with freeing up that funds to do other stuff within the team. So let's have a quick look at what that looks like. So with the 1 free transfer already used, I've now got 3 million in the bank, which obviously gives me a lot of options moving forward. And the team now lines up slightly different. Obviously I have Hall instead of Trent Alexander in the defence, so that looks, Fulham away, Forest at home and West Ham at home. Feels like a good options for potentially some clean sheets in that defence. I've stuck with the midfielders and I actually brought Johnson in away to Man City over Wood as well. So I think the Arsenal defence is slightly better than Man City's at the moment. But obviously both of them are still conceding goals. I just think that the Tottenham attack is a little bit more threatening than the Nottingham Forest one. So therefore that's why Johnson is in at the moment. The other challenge at the moment is I'm thinking about is captains, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in the next. But Tottenham have 2 of their main central defenders out in Van der Ven and Romero, so it could be an absolute goal fest in that game potentially for Haaland to get back into form. He's scored 4 goals in his last 4 games, so he's starting to find a little bit of form, but obviously not getting those big hauls like Salah at the moment. I've actually put the captain's armband on Palmer, who is away to Leicester. I don't believe he's injured. I think he'll be fine. He's had a rest, so I think he'll be playing to a promoted side. I think there's an opportunity there for him to get some results. So my captaincy is currently sitting on Palmer and Haaland as vice captain at the moment, with Wood and Aina on the bench as my first 2 options because they're playing Arsenal. Now that may well be biased, as you can tell I'm wearing an Arsenal shirt, so it may just be biased that when I watch that game I'm just hoping for the Arsenal clean sheet. and getting the points from Gabriel. But let me know in the chat below, am I crazy to be picking Palmer over Haaland as a captain this week, especially given the fact that Tottenham's defence is looking very weakened with injuries at the moment? Do I keep my faith in Haaland, keep the captain on him? Let me know what you're doing in the chat below. So moving on to the captaincy options, and as I said, I've already put my captain's armband on Palmer at the moment, and that may change last minute. I may switch back to Haaland because I do think if I get any further news around that Tottenham starting lineup, if that back four is as decimated as I think it could be a great opportunity for Tottenham. But a lot of that for me is also FOMO. You know, I've had Haaland in my team since Gameweek 6. He's never really got a haul in all of that time, having scored 10 goals in the first 5 games, and I'm now worried that the moment I take the armband off him, he goes and gets a hat trick, and then I miss out on the captain's piece. But I do think Leicester away is a better fixture, and as long as Palmer isn't injured, and there was nothing in the press conference that suggested so, I think that's a better option for me. If we go through this list here, Southampton for Salah, he's expected 8.1 points according to the Fantasy Football Hub AI tool, predictive tool. So he's the number one. Haaland is actually number 2, but the points for Palmer and for Saka are based on what they perceived to be reduced minutes because they're both flagged. I think both of them will still play the 90 minutes on that as well. And then outside of that, you've got Isak and Watkins at home to West Ham and Crystal Palace, who are both expected to get some points this week as well. So as I said, for me, currently on Palmer, and then I've got Haaland as my vice captain, as I don't own Salah. If I own Salah, he would absolutely be my captain for this week. So that's where it sits at the moment. So let's have a quick look what I can do with all that money spare sitting in the bank. So with 3 million sitting in the bank, I've already used my free transfer. Anything I do now is going to cost me additional points. I'm going to have to take a hit. So my first option, as always going into the game week, is to do nothing. Sit there with the 3 million, wait for next week, get my free transfer and see what's on options there. The second option is to move either Brennan Johnson to Bruno Fernandes, or I could even actually move Mbeumo up to Saka, but that just feels like moving a yellow flag to another yellow flag, and Mbeumo's fixtures for the next 2 look great, so I could potentially just wait 2 weeks and then bring in Saka after that as well. And then I could also take a -8 and have been considering moving Haaland on and bringing Salah in. I think the fixtures are slightly better for Salah over the coming weeks, although they do play each other next week. But by moving Haaland and Johnson out, I could bring in Isak and Salah. So I still have a strong front line. And I could actually do someone as low as Rodgers or Semenyo up to Salah. So I could also keep Johnson if I wanted to. I just think that Tottenham's fixtures aren't great at the moment on that as well. So realistically right now, I've been going back and forth all over all week about what to do with so many flags in my team. I'm tempted to just take the gamble. I've been getting green arrows for the last 3 weeks, so I just take my team as it is. I've done my 1 free transfer, keep my 3 million in the bank, and then use it next week once I've got a little bit more information on where those injuries are, who's played, who hasn't, and then obviously start to think about going into the Christmas period when there's going to be midweek games and the likes moving forward. So there's some options here. As I said, Brennan Johnson to Fernandes feels like another knee-jerk move. Fernandes has obviously scored 2 double-digit hauls in the last 2 weeks, and there's a new manager coming in with Amorim. Their next 2 fixtures look amazing, and obviously Brennan Johnson is playing away to Man City this week. So do I think that Bruno Fernandes could get another double-digit haul and then cover that -4 in its first week? But then their fixtures get a little bit tougher after those 2, so it would again feel like another short-term fix, and I've been changing that spot around a lot recently for no real gain. So I might just hold off on this, keep Brennan Johnson. Hopefully Man City concede again and he gets involved in that as well. So that's my options for game week 12. Sorry, that feels like a little bit of a ramble, but hopefully it gives you some ideas of how I'm thinking when coming to make decisions for each game week. So as always, I just want to say a big thank you for watching FPL Fanzone. If you have got this far into the video, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, and hit that notification bell because the videos will be coming thick and fast over the Christmas period. I am actually away on holiday next week, so I will try and get a video out while I am on the beach on Hamilton Island, but I will do my best to do that, so I'll have to take some of my equipment with me. Which my wife, I'm sure, will be very happy about. So once again, thank you for watching FPL Fanzone. Good luck for Game Week 12, and may your arrows always be green.